Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're coming up on National Business Etiquette Week. We'll be talking to a nationally known expert next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
All right, we're coming up on National Business Etiquette Week, and I don't think this could be any more timely because so many young people are graduating college, and if they do get a job, and that's a big problem these days, a lot of people graduate and they're just kind of sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring. If they do get a job, they don't have the soft skills to be a rock star in their industry, and part of that is my generation. We gave our kids everything because we didn't want them to have any obstacles, and so we were snowplow parents or helicopter parents, and we just kind of hovered over our kids. So that's why I invited Julie Jones back on the show. She's with Today's Professionals and Consulting and Development. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely.
So great to be here.
Well, we were talking before the show that a common need in companies across the country is Adulting 101. Okay, so explain that to us.
So that's actually a college class that's now being offered, and for many colleges across the union. So I heard this the other day on the news, and thought it was interesting because they're teaching things like how to change a tire. They're teaching things like how to do laundry, and professionalism and etiquette is part of it, and students are flocking to it all over the nation. So.
Well, and you and I both were sharing a story before the show about, when my son was 16, we sent him to the mall to work in a store where he was in a customer service role, so he had to approach strangers. And then you had a similar experience with your son.
Right. We actually had him, after he graduated high school, we told him to go apply for a 4-star steakhouse to be a server. And he said, "Oh, they'll never hire me. I don't have any experience." And, we said, well, maybe that means that you don't have bad habits that they have to retrain. And so he went down there, he dressed up, he put on dress pants and a dress shirt. And when he walked in, they said, "Oh, come in and sit down." And they had him fill out the application. The manager was meeting with him, and then the owner came over and met with him, and they hired him on the spot.
Wow.
And what they said to him was, "You look really nice." You wouldn't believe how people come in dressed to apply for a job. They come in shorts and flip-flops, but he dressed up and went in, and so that made the difference. And he was hired right there, and he worked for them during his first year and a half of college until he went off to go to another college. But while he was here, getting some basics off, he worked there, and it was great.
And Julie, how did that shape him today? Because I know he's a rock star in his industry. How do you think?
Yeah, he really is. And well, he's working for a large insurance agency, and he's had several careers. He was in the creative industry. He did videos and YouTube for a while. And he now has decided he wants to go down this path of, building a career with a company, and he's just been well received.
Yes.
He's showing up the way he should. He's going in on days that they say you don't have to come in. He shows up anyway.
Wow.
And he has a great attitude, and as far as I can tell, he's doing really well.
Yes. And I think you and I would both agree that we weren't tough parents by sending them out into the world to learn to talk to strangers. That was a very loving thing that we both did. There's a style of parenting these days called gentle parenting.
Yes, gentle.
And that's basically, hey, our kids have been overscheduled, so let's just back off and just let them be themselves. But there's a danger to that because they might just want to play video games all day.
Right. So what happens is, and I have a background in education, so what I find is that we all need some structure.
Yes.
And so too much structure wears them out, burns them out, and they don't have enough downtime. So the pendulum swung too far.
Yes.
And so now we don't have enough structure. And so what happens is we're not teaching them how to be resilient. We're not teaching them the mental toughness and how to deal with life as it comes. And we're not telling them, hey, you were made for this.
Yes.
And I know this is tough. And so I'm going to walk with you through this tough time, but I'm going to help you figure it out, but I'm not going to do it for you. And so I think that's what companies are seeing right now, is that the students are graduating from college and they come in and they don't know how to dress, and they don't have the mindset to be in the professional world.
Yes.
And so they don't know how to make phone calls. They'd rather send etiquettes or text messages. And so they're just struggling to put it all together.
Yes.
But we'll get there because National Business Etiquette Week is coming up. And so we're going to be celebrating all the things, professionalism and respect and communication and image, all week next week.
And your business is going crazy right now. Let's go ahead and pull up her website. And as we scroll down the website, I noticed that you offer a wide range of opportunities for people to engage you. You have online courses. Talk about the kinds of clients that you like to serve.
Well, I've been working a lot with clients, the corporations, as they are hiring young professionals right out of college, and as we're meshing the generations. So I do a lot of customer service training. I talk a lot about business etiquette. Dining etiquette used to be my #1 requested class.
Yes.
But now I've moved into coaching, and that's become a budding opportunity for everyone, because what happens is corporations only have so much time and so much money in the budget.
Yes.
And so the feedback comes back from the participants that this was the most effective training that I've had. Can we do more of this? And so I started thinking, how can I take this to the people that actually need and want the training so that they can get more individualized training?
Yes.
So even though it might be group coaching, I offer group and individual coaching, but it's more individuals, it's smaller groups, and they can ask questions specifically to them.
Yes. And I imagine that it allows for the companies to retain these young people. I mean, some of them are very bright and ambitious. They just don't have the soft skills to pull it off.
Right.
Even the firm handshake, looking you in the eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing what we're doing right now is difficult for a lot of people. And I think what companies are finding is that when you pour into your team, your internal customers first, and you make sure that they're happy, that they like what they're doing, they feel good about it, they feel seen, valued, and heard, and they've got a great culture, then happy employees, happy team members take better care of your customers.
Yes.
And then your customers love you and they refer business to you. And then the company wins. So we always talk about start by focusing on your team members first. Hire the right people for values, train the skill, and then create that culture.
Beautiful. And you have a very popular podcast. We're going to put this on the screen. It's called How You Will Be Remembered.
It's How You'll Be Remembered, yes.
And tell us about the premise of the show and what kind of guests you like to invite.
I invite guests, anyone who is working with soft skills. So if it's networking, if it's building communities, if it is image, anything that has to do with soft skills, I invite people to come in and join me on the podcast. It is a live podcast every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Okay,
so when a company engages you, tell us what that's like, because you're the stranger, you're coming into a new company. Tell us what an engagement looks like, and how do you go in so you're not being forced down their throat, so to speak.
Right. Well, yeah, because when people say we're doing an etiquette class, some people come in with attitudes like, "What? I don't need etiquette." But then when they find out it's really just about themselves and how they can improve their communication, how, especially if you're in sales or customer service, how you meet people where they are and use your emotional intelligence to move them forward. And it's also great for managers. You know, managers need to know how their team members communicate, what their emotional and psychological needs are so that they can meet those needs right then recognize signs of distress and pull people out of distress.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Jeff, when people are in distress, you can't have a productive conversation.
True.
And if you are having to talk about somebody who missed their numbers or there's something going on, you have to have a relationship with them first. And if you never talk to them except to scold them or to tell them what they're doing wrong, then they're going to end up leaving.
Okay, let's talk more about emotional intelligence. It's reading the room and knowing when to talk and knowing when to listen.
Yes.
Talk more about emotional IQ.
Well, there are two parts to it. First of all, is you have to know yourself. You have to understand how you communicate, what your needs are, and how you respond in distress. Because when people are in distress, they behave differently. And so it's not necessarily that Julie's being a jerk, is that maybe there's something going on in her world. And so the emotional intelligence piece is that you recognize it. You know that. And so it's reading the room and first of all, knowing yourself and then reading the room so that you know that if somebody says something to you, that you're not taking it personal because you understand, oh, wait, Jeff's in distress. Maybe I should have a conversation with him. And then you have a conversation about you and it's my concern for you. It's not, hey, what's wrong with you today?
Right. And everybody can have a bad day. And so, I mean, it can have a cascading series of events if you read the room wrong or you say something unkind to something that was said poorly to you.
Right.
So what do you see for your business in the coming years?
Oh, my goodness. I see it continuing to grow. I am taking on a team. I'm already interviewing people who are going to come on and help me. I'm starting to build that team now, and I would love to license my curriculum and what I'm doing to other people because a lot of companies right now are hiring people to come in and train and coach their team members. They're bringing it inside because they know it's something that needs to happen daily, not just once a year. And so I would love to be able to license that.
And you have a background in education. Share that.
I do, and an entrepreneur. So yeah, I left education in 2013 because the business community was saying that what we were doing wasn't working. And so in education, we're going to double down. We're just going to do more of the same. And it felt like it was the definition of insanity.
Sure.
Education now is a lot different. And they teach soft skills now. But back then, they weren't as big on that. So I found the research that shows that 85% of a person's success comes from your ability to connect with others. It's people skills. And then I also found out that companies hire etiquette consultants to come in and work with their team members. So I became a certified etiquette consultant. And I left in 2013, and I have loved every minute of it.
Well, and many managers really, they may not have the skill set to teach this to the young employees.
Right.
So outsourcing it to somebody like you who can come in with empathy and really move the needle. I'm sure you've gotten compliments after the training was over that you really made a profound difference.
Well, and yes, because people will say, I did not realize about me. I did not know that the way that I show up to eat dinner with a client that meal is different. Like you showed me that I can show up confident. And especially for young employees, young people, they are always asking me, how can I make sure that somebody your age trusts me and knows, can have confidence that I know what I'm talking about? And I said, well, it's how you show up.
Yeah.
So little things make a big difference.
And I always tell young people that you don't have to be interesting, you have to be interested.
Yes.
So it's really the person who asks the best questions is the best conversationalist.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't put the pressure on yourself to talk. Put the pressure on yourself to be curious and to engage in small talk so that people will open up to you. And that's a skill set.
Okay, Julie, we have about a minute left. Okay. So look into the camera on the left and talk to the company that might need to bring you in.
Well, if you are struggling with any employee that's having communication issues, or if you want to teach leadership skills to managers or emerging managers, reach out and let's have a conversation. There are ways that you can train people to do the job and do it correctly. So, and not only correctly, but do it well, because when people feel good about what they do and you're empowering them and developing them, then they are going to help you grow as a company.
Outstanding. Mic drop. We're going to end with her website, which is todaysprofessionals.com. The great Julie Jones. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.